Could you applaud less sarcastic? Bring it around the room.
Woo!
Welcome to the stage, Mr. Niall Horisk.
Woo! Yeah, Niall! Woo!
Give up for Bob, everybody.
Woo!
How are we?
Good.
Great. I'm Niall. Hi, Niall. Alcoholics Anonymous. Good. I'm a student here in Galway. Students, right? Cheap night out. Good. But as a student, you know, I waste a lot of time. Like today, I watched Captain Phillips. Has everyone seen Captain Phillips? Yeah. Tom Hanks is captain. His name is Phillips. And that's it. But it is the most frustrating movie that I've ever seen 3 times. Like, if you haven't seen it, basically Tom Hanks was the captain of a ship and his name is Phillips. And the ship was overrun by 3 pirates with little to no effort. And that's it, for the entire movie. But I was watching and the whole movie come and save for me if one line and one scene had been different. Basically the main scene where Tom Hanks was face to face with like the main pirate dude, who's like, if you've seen, he's like a forehead with a body attached to the bottom of it. Him. So like he's like, okay Irish, I'm the captain now, okay? And Tom Hanks is like, yeah, sure, whatever. Have my ship, take my hat as well. If his reaction had been a little bit different, the whole movie come and save for me. So the forehead says, okay Irish, I'm the captain now, okay? And then Tom Hanks says, I used to be the captain of a shrimp boat. Biggest build up to a Forrest Gump impression you'll hear tonight. But, that's my favourite bit. But, yeah, Galway has its pros and cons. Like, we're not, one of the pros would be like, we still have empathy here. You know, we kind of like a... That wasn't actually a joke, but okay. Cynical cunts, Jesus. Wow, full of locals in here. Wow. But anyway, as my bit was scripted, we still have empathy here. Unlike, you know, the bigger cities, you know, like where everyone's kind of looking at their phones and just jumping over the homeless and rugby tackling charity collectors, and just this big mad rush for what? Just to get into Starbucks to pay $8.50 for a drink that sounds like an Italian hatchback. Can I have a mocha choca Mitsubishi macchiato? Yeah, thank you. But yeah, then, you know, with the empathy, you know, like I think it decreases the bigger a population gets. And also the bigger a population gets, I think, increases the quantity of mad bastards in a town. Frequent nodding in the corner. I'm from Dublin, fuck I know. But speaking of Dublin, I was actually at a bus stop in Dublin and I was sitting next to a fella and he was kind of an eccentric old fella. And when I say eccentric, I don't mean like cute eccentric, like Doc Martin in Back to the Future type of eccentric. More like raising root vegetables and riding your cousin type of eccentric. So Mayo eccentric. Sorry, Bob. But this fella, he spent a good 25 minutes trying to persuade me to vote no in the marriage equality referendum. 1 year after it was passed. But, one of the cons of Galway, I would say, is the tourists.
Ooh.
I'll lose half the room with this one. Fucking so edgy, wow. But I deal a lot with tourists, you know, like I do a lot of flyering for a comedy club. Guess which one? Like I sometimes have to wear the sandwich board. You ever see a sandwich board people sometimes have to wear in exchange for dignity? I wear it and just hand out flyers to people in the street, tourists, and I was pretty soon into it I started to feel like an information kiosk. Because every second person that would pass would stop and ask me something. You stand there and like, excuse me sir, like actually tapping on the board like a touchscreen information kiosk. Excuse me sir, is the Spanish Arch a place or is it just the name of a place? It's both. But one of the days there, I thought I was going to get like a life lesson bestowed upon me. I was selling my sandwich board and standing at the foot of Shop Street, the busiest intersection in the entire county. And I spotted this old fella come down the street towards me. And we locked eyes. And our eyes remained locked for his entire walk down the street. And he walked right up to me. And he pointed his old finger in my face. He said, there are a lot of people in this world who can say, I have done a lot with my life. So already I'm thinking this isn't an ordinary encounter. He went on and said, but one thing nobody can say I have ever done is stand on the street doing nothing like you.
Oh.
Never mind, just a dick. But I did travel a bit. I'm kind of in need of travel. I think. Like I've been here 2 years. I think that's too long. I think. I did travel a bit. I worked in New Zealand for a year after my leaving cert. Exotic. Which probably tells some about my results. I had to flee the country. But I spent a year doing a plastering apprenticeship with a company in Christchurch, which is why I'm back here studying, because fuck that. Manual labour in this slender frame, I don't think so. But I felt quite exotic actually when I was down there. My name is Niall. That's rare in New Zealand. Like outside of Ireland, it doesn't exist. Like especially I'd feel quite weird going into barista places. Or cafes, as they're also known. Barista places, yeah. I walked into this hipstery place. They all insist on taking your name now, writing it on the cup. And I walked into this place and I said, large cappuccino please, 2 sugars. And do you ever see somebody so good looking, you lose all cognitive function? This barista, he was like a blend between George Ezra and the poster boy for Hitler Youth. I just went blank. It was 11 out of 10, so I tried giving my order. I said, yeah, cappuccino, 2 sugars, and he wrote my name on the cup and went off and made it, and came back to large mocha for Nail. Yeah, George, that's me. Whatever you say, George. Mocha, 8 sugars, 4 sugars, dip your cock in it, whatever. I'm single. Shock gasp, okay. We've a lot of dating apps now for single people. To help us avoid dying alone in a room full of cat hair and empty Jameson bottles. I'm on Grindr, for example. Stunned silence. The Russians in for a pity. If you're not familiar with Grindr, it's basically a sleazier Tinder with a lot less women. Then of course, you have all those friends who aren't on dating apps because they're in a relationship and they love to tell everybody how well it's going. And remind you on Facebook how well, all the little milestones and everything. Oh, tomorrow's our 7-week anniversary. Love you, babe. Every day's better than the last. Then the next day you get the on the day notification. Today's our 7-week anniversary. Love you, babe. Every day's better than the last. Then the next day, or a whole collage of them. And if you're friends with both of them, you get to see it all twice. So that's heartwarming. Meanwhile, I'm at home alone watching Mastermind, thinking to myself, my special subject would probably be Pornhub categories. But speaking of Facebook, and I will leave you on this, do you see those memories that everyone shares? Those memories I've been friends with Jerry for 3 years today. That's not a memory. That's not an event or anything. I once got a blowjob in a multi-story car park. That is a memory. And on that, I'll leave you with my